Hi, my name is Sam Price, the Crypto Lifer. I've been a technical analyst for over 10 years, and I've looked at multiple markets around the world every single Friday. I give you your macro top-down analysis for Bitcoin, Bitcoin dominance, Tether dominance, Total 3, NASDAQ futures, S&P futures, gold, the DXY, and 3 other hot coins that'll blow your mind that you need to see and give you kind of a whole idea of what's happening in the markets. First thing we want to talk about is kind of where were we last week? What was I talking about? And what did I say was likely going to happen? Let's kind of take a look into that just in case you did watch the last update. That's going to be our next resistance, and then it's going to be 68K and all our way to the upside. So I'm bullish for Bitcoin as long as we hold above 61.5, and that's going to happen. We have 2 days and 4 hours until that weekly candle closes. So far, so good. I'm really, really excited. And then we're on our way to some bigger gains. So I believe by next week, it looks like Bitcoin's going to possibly be breaking through 65,000, 66, or even $68,000. And that's exactly what happened. Let's break it down and talk about it, right? But that's exactly where we are. Everything kind of panned out exactly the way we talked about it, right? And you would have been able to actually make those gains had you watched my macro analysis video. This video is that amazing. You think it's not. It's just a brush through in a macro, but it's really showing you how to trade the market on a bigger scale, all right? So what happened? Where are we? Well, this weekly candle is getting ready in 2 days to close above $68,000 resistance. That's it right there, 68K. We close above 68,000. It's just so likely we're going to zoom up to the next resistance right there at 69.5 and then 70,000, 71. And that's your next weekly resistance right there. It's like 71.5, right? 71.250. Let's see exactly what the candle, where it closed. 71.280. Once you close a candle above 71.280, that will be the biggest weekly candle close we've ever had. We are so close to the all-time high. It's amazing, right? That's a bit of a double bottom. Look at the shoulder, the head, the right shoulder there. It's hard to see, but that definitely was a shoulder. That was the head. That's the right shoulder. We break to the upside. If you just take that weekly idea, that tells you you're headed up to about $79,000. Looks to me, it's very likely by next week we either hit the all-time high or we break through it. When I'm here next week, it's a huge chance. I'd say there's like a 90% chance we're above the all-time high, or at least we've hit it, come back down, or we're making some type of flag on our move to the upside. I'm overly bullish for Bitcoin. The technical analysis tells me I should be. Another reason why is whenever the daily moving averages get this close, it tells me that a big move is coming. I drew this symmetrical triangle for you guys. We had the breakout. We got above the 200 MA on the daily. I told you how significant that was. Ever since then, we've been mooning to the upside. And even today, Bitcoin's getting on a bit of a run. On the smaller time frames, it looks like we may even go to $69,000. But I've gone over that already on my updates. And if you want to know more from this, hit the link, join my Discord, and you're going to get an actual update. I do updates every day. You'll get another update later on tonight if you really want to understand what's happening to BTC. But on the macro scale, I see a continuation here further to the upside. Once we break through that level, it's, the all-time high is right there. It's so close for the daily, and then 73,000, and we are gone. Only time will tell, one step at a time. What would be bearish if we somehow ended up back below 66.2 and then tried to challenge the 200 MA. But as long as we stay above the 200 MA, as long as we stay above these key levels, we're going up towards 69,000 and beyond. The total market cap, it finally breached this trend line. You can see we drew this trend line. Clear as day, you can see every time we hit it, resistance, 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 back, bounce, 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 and we find our range. We eventually are closing a weekly candle, if this does stay intact, above the trend line, and it'll be nice if we can head up to $2.43 trillion. All we want to see is a weekly candle close above this. That suggests we boom to $4 trillion market cap, and that's going to be a huge run into September of 2025. It says this is just going to be a run all the way into September of 2025. And that's when things are going to kind of start to slow down. So massive rally here for Bitcoin. Things getting out of control. And, the total market cap, which has most of Bitcoin because the dominance is high, but that's the total market cap of all of cryptocurrencies. And it's saying huge cup and handle. They call me Sammy Cup and Handy. It's pretty fitting that the cup and handle is ready to blast. Total 3 looks exactly the same. It just breached out a little more, retested. And if I bring you into a smaller time frame, we're just inside this flag here, symmetrical triangle. To me, it wants to breach above that 200 MA. Once it breaks the 200, it is gone, and it gets to about $680 billion. That's going to be a big move. That is all looking ripe and ready. Again, could we get rejected? Could there be the black swan? And do we come back down and bounce? Yes. And if we ever fall through this top trend line, we will drop quickly down to 469. So that's the one thing that I would stress there, right? But so far, I'm very bullish. Things are looking great. My prediction is next week when I come here again, we are breaking through this and maybe even somewhere by the 660 or even to 684. Bitcoin dominance, we told you, is going to continue to run. Altcoins are pumping with them, but not every altcoin. But, you know, Bitcoin's going up so high and everyone's kind of, there's enough money now. It's kind of flowing into Bitcoin and some of the altcoins and things are kind of balancing out. So it's a good sign that we could get continuation, but your huge alt run isn't going to happen until Bitcoin dominance finally recedes. Looks like Bitcoin dominance is going to head all the way up to 68. It really does. I mean, there's that huge gap up there. I don't see how it doesn't. It just breached this little area. Let me redraw this because I have it now more in like a rising wedge. But, you know, and you can see like these rising wedges are just, and this is what happens when price action starts to go super parabolic. And we talked about this. We told you to watch Bitcoin dominance last week. We went over the idea that Bitcoin's really going to take the show first, boom up, probably hit that $100,000. And then that's when you're going to see that just massive alt rally. So alts will pump as on our way there, but that really, really big frothy pump where everything just goes insane, that's coming once Bitcoin likely hits about 68% in dominance, which is going to be crazy. Does it go that high? I mean, maybe it gets rejected somewhere here by 64, but I still see a move here for Bitcoin dominance. All right. Tether dominance. We put it in this beautiful inverted cup and handle. Says it's going to break to the downside. When you look at everything else, you can see it's starting to, a red movement down. It's below the 200 MA on the 3-day. It got rejected by the 200 MA on the 3-day. That's bearish. And we have a head and shoulder pattern here. That's going to break down 68% of the time. So the math is telling us that there's a high percentage move, and no one wants to be in Tether right now. Everyone's unloading their Tether into altcoins. You can clearly see it. Stacking Tether right now is probably going to be the worst financial decision. Again, I'm not a financial advisor to do whatever makes you happy, but you can tell by the charts, it's telling you it's probably not a good look. And this is going to be the run. As Tether dominance dumps, that's going to be our run. And that says it's going to dump all the way to March of 2025. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe it's something like this, but it does say that this rally could get pretty frothy and that Tether dominance may dip all the way down into March of 2025. So that's an inverted cup and handle. That's pretty much the measured move. And it looks, like we're going to get the dump. The dollar, huge pump, but Bitcoin decided to pump with it. First, they kind of didn't, but the last few weeks, I mean, look at this. Ever since September 30th, the dollar's been pumping hard. Now, Donald Trump likes the dollar, and as he gains more momentum, I believe there's more ideas. He helps. He's anti-BRICS. BRICS was a little shaky the last few weeks. It wasn't perfect. The dollar actually continues to expand around the world. You have to realize that. As Bitcoin expands, so does the dollar. They can pump together. But right now, we're hitting right there, that 200 MA. You would expect at least a pullback in the DXY, which will also give some good strength for Bitcoin. And boom. So maybe we make a flag like this, but for now, I see at least a pullback to the 21-day moving average and rejection to the 200. It says for the next week, we should get a really big Bitcoin pump, and this dollar should recede the DXY. And we'll reconvene next week. But next week, I should be somewhere down here on the DXY. S&P futures, I gave you this trade right there. You're still in the money if from that trade. And now I see the rising wedge going parabolic. They're about to print this money. The parabola is forming. We are on our way to 6,533. I've been telling you we're going to pump. I've been showing you the moves. I've been going through it every single time. This trade is now in the money from the entry there at 5,796. And I firmly believe this is going to continue once it breaches 6,000 to 6,500. And this looks like it could get there pretty fast. It might even take by December for this rally to occur. The next 6 to 7 weeks look pretty insane for what the charts are conveying. I mean, if we pump that hard, this is how the charts would look if we did. So that's how the setup would look if we do pump insanely high. That's exactly how it would look. I mean, you have to remember, you go through technical analysis, backtest it for years, look at every hot pump. Watch every hot pump and dissect it. And then look for those exact clues again. That's all I did. I backtested. Just like they backtested UFOs and found out how they work. Same idea. We backtest. All right. We backtest. I'm going to say a keyword right now, Bob Lazar. All right. And I'm going to ask you guys for that keyword on Twitter on another day. Right. So NQ looking like it could pump all the way to 20% gains. I'm bullish on the NQ, just like the S&P, getting tight. Bounce, getting ready to move. Moving averages are great. Above the 200 MA, that shows signs of movement. RSI about to flip. The NQ is about to pump so dang hard, it's ridiculous. Okay? Gold, I gave you this flag for gold. It pumped up. I gave you this flag for gold. It pumped up. I gave you this flag for gold. It pumped up. I'm telling you that the overall bigger flag has this measured move here. I took the length of the pole. It tells us that we're going all the way up to about $3,000 an ounce, somewhere even by December. It just looks like there's just going to be this massive rally and everything. And actually, it's already been happening, as you can see. We just continue to take market share. Gold continues to pump, and it's on its way to $3,000 an ounce. Sol Bitcoin. Sol holding well, not losing 150. And as long as Bitcoin keeps revving up, Sol will follow and not lose much against it. It might dip a little bit, but I find over time, Solana will beat up on Bitcoin. I see 118% gains coming soon, in the next 4 to 5 months out of SOLBTC. Everyone's worried about Casper. They think it's going to dump. It's done. Is that an Adam and Eve double top? What's happening? Some bearish divergence. I think got a little sell-off, a little bit of meme action. Its memes weren't the hottest things in sliced bread. It was a little slow getting those, getting everything kind of together. But I believe it recovers. The memes start to pump again. It follows suit with the rest of the market, and it likes to follow. It's a layer one. It likes to follow Bitcoin. Bitcoin pumps hard. I don't see how Casper doesn't make a move here. So it does look very sketchy, but remember, there's your low. There's a high. There's a higher low. Higher high. Higher low. Higher high. Higher low. You still have a completely in-tracked uptrend, even though it looks a little sketchy. And if you take out this low, fine. If you ever go below 10.5, I change my tune. But as long as you don't go below 10.5, it's just likely you're going to continue to pump. The target for Casper is somewhere at about 37 cents, and it seems like it could take that says it could take a year to get there. Casper moves pretty slow. Everyone says Casper to $1, $2. It's going to have to go on some massive fast rally. To me, I really realistically see 30, 40, 50 cent Casper. And remember, I got it at a penny. That is a 40x. I'll be super excited if that happens. Sui. Now, I got out of Sui at about 170, thinking it was too extended from the 3-day, but then it continued to pump. All right. And now I'm looking, well, what is it going to do? Is it going to go sideways here, or is it going to come down to the 21? When the Stokes are that high, you've pumped this hard, it's good to pull a Fibonacci, and likely you come back down to the 618 golden pocket. However, so much is happening for Sui. New DEX is coming out. We just traded a coin called Deep on Sui that's actually up 4x in literally 40 hours. So there's a lot coming our way. There's a lot happening, and it tells me, hey, man, maybe Sui doesn't pull back to the 618. Maybe it goes sideways or even trends up while it meets the 21. What I do know about Sui is before its next major run, it usually, 90% of the time on most assets, it should hit the 21 before it pumps. So I'm watching this closely, though. Like, do you DCA into Sui or do you take your profits? Very hard to tell at this present moment in time. We did just bounce off $2. If this consolidates more and more, I think I'm going to take my profits and double what I made and make a pretty big bag in Sui and just let it ride, because it's going to be one of the major players in the run. And I did get in at 90. I took a big chunk out of this run. I've still got that liquidity, and I can put it where I want it to go at one point. So, again, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice. Please get yourself a financial advisor and your own due diligence before getting into any project, coin, or trade. So that's Bitcoin, total 3, Bitcoin dominance, Tether dominance, the DXY, the S&P futures, NASDAQ futures, gold, SOLBTC, Casper, and Sui, USDT. Shout out to everybody that watched this amazing macro technical analysis video. We were spot on ever since we put this out. It's been really nailing it. Stay tuned. Keep watching this. We have 10,000 views a day on the live. We should be getting the same amount on this one. Everybody, I love you. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Remember, if you came to the channel, then you're already doing the right thing. Crypto is life.